Wouldn't it be nice if membership was free in old school RuneScape? Well, these methods will make you money passively in the background, and it's more than enough to continuously pay for your membership. So starting off with probably the most profitable one out of all of them, where the only requirement is GP, and my current favourite Discord, because there's just so many ways to make money in here, and that is all bulks. Honestly, they should be building a statue at this point, or getting a restraining order. Anyway, if you come in here and you click on the Alkables tab, this part is for players that high alk bulk amounts of items. Now, because of the GE trade limits, it's impossible for them to buy all the items they need quickly enough. So instead, all they do is they come in here and pay players a little bit more money than the current GE prices to buy them for them. All you need to do for this one is to check the prices that they're paying on the Discord and then leave an offer in the G for a few hundred GP less per item, and then just come back here when you're ready, whether that be a day, a week, a month, or whatever you have the money for, because it really doesn't matter. The prices practically never ever change, and even if they do, it's by a tiny amount, since the high alk price is always consistent, and then just contact the buyer or post what you're selling. The best part is, because there's so many players alking, it's really busy and you can sell items pretty quick in here. The most common item that players trade is generally D-hide bodies, but they do buy Mithril, Addy, Rune, Dragon, Battle Staffs, plus a few other things as well. And you can do this method for very little money, which I'll come to shortly. But first, I decided to test it myself for 24 hours just to see how much I could make on the more popular items. As well as alkables, there are some other items that you can do this with in the other sections, and the most profitable one right now is mole skins. They're currently 9.1 thousand GP on the GE and can be sold for 9,650 GP each. Plus, there's also some cheaper items like basic runes if you're low on GP. So for the test, I put in the maximum amount that you can buy in 24 hours for each item, and apart from green D-hide bodies which didn't buy at all, which will just happen sometimes if the price is going up and your offer's a little bit under it, and I didn't quite buy all the blue D-hide bodies, but everything else bought for a good price, giving me a decent profit too. I didn't have to check offers, change them, or worry about being undercut. I just left the offers in for 24 hours and this was the result. Whilst this did cost 32.7 mil to put all those offers in, the Rune Warhammers and the Addy plate bodies made up over half of that figure, so you can just swap them out for another item. So this was the profit margins. Red D-hide body usually sells for 6.2k and costs 6,005 GP, a profit of 82,000 GP for all of them. The black D-hide bodies made me 104,000 GP profit, moleskins had a profit of 163k, mithril plate bodies made me 56k, Addy plate bodies 111,000 profit, blue D-hide 121k, and finally Rune Warhammers, which were expensive but amazing money, with a profit of 337,000 GP. Now obviously green didn't make me any money, and I'm not going to swap it out, change it for something else, because I want it to be realistic for what you're going to make, and altogether I made 974,000 GP in one day by simply putting 8 offers in the GE, which took me about 2 minutes. Doing this method alone, and not even any of the other ones, will more than pay for your membership. There are tons of items that you can do this with. These were just a mix of the most popular ones that can be sold very easily and very quick on the Discord. For cheaper items, you can also buy feathers and basic runes. There's a section for each of these individually on the Discord, and the rules are the feathers, which are currently 2 GP each, can only be sold for a minimum of 4 GP, literally doubling your money on these ones. Now I didn't test them, I'm presuming you can buy 30,000 every 4 hours at 2 GP each, it's a profit of 360,000 a day. Or 180,000 profit even if you pay 3 GP each, which they'll definitely buy for that price. Runes have a similar rule where you have to sell them for at least 6 GP each, plus a minimum of 1 GP over the GE price. Now all the runes at the moment are between 4 and 5 GP, so each type of rune can make you between 300 and 600,000 GP a day. Again, the profit margins on these ones, the cheaper items, are insane. They're just going to take you a bit longer to sell. The next passive one that you want to do, if you're not doing it already, is managing Miscellania. After you've completed the Throne of Miscellania and ideally Royal Trouble for an even bigger profit, you can get 100% favour and then put 7.5 million into the coffers and they'll gather resources for you every single day. Currently, the most profitable thing to ask your workers to collect is herbs, so put 10 workers on that one, which will make you 67,000 profit per day, and 5 workers on normal maple logs, which will get you another 21,000, 88,000 profit per day from this one. Now I'm not sure if you would actually consider this one passive, but once a day you can collect certain items dependent on your diary completion. Now, I generally find a lot of the daily things like this aren't worth doing these days, but there's two that are still very good money. The best one by far is Battle Staffs from Zaf in Varrock, and he'll sell you between 15 and 120 for 7,000 GP each, and the GE price is currently almost 8,000 GP, making you up to 118,000 per day for less than a minute's work. Finally, this one requires that you get points in the Nightmare Zone first, which is very simple to do and can be done completely AFK. I'll link a good guide below if you haven't done this before, but once you have a good amount of points, once per day you can collect 15 herb boxes with each containing a variety of random herbs. Each box is currently worth an average of 13,000 GP, so that is another 197,000 GP per day that you can collect from this one. Now, I might just be being a little bit of a snob, because here's a list of the other dailies that you can do, and some of these can be as much as 50,000 GP, but I generally don't, because my experience with dailies is if you do all of them, it takes you about an extra 20 minutes to make maybe another 200,000 GP, and for that amount there's just better money makers out there. So, by just picking the best ones, buying all the items to sell on all bulks will make you 974,000 GP currently. Miscellania is another 88k, Zaf can get you up to 118,000 GP profit, and the Nightmare Zone is 197k. These are the most profitable ones and will probably take you about 5 minutes to do, for a total passive daily income of 1.37 million GP. That is 19.18 million every 14 days, with a bond currently costing 11 million GP. But let me know if you have any better passive money makers.